Hello and welcome everybody. It's time for more Academy. My name is Julian Pastry Time Card. Joining me, my partner in crime pretty often these days, is Alberto Crumbs. Crumbs, you were here yesterday. How are things going here in Academy?
Things are going swell in Academy Pastry. The games have missed you because there are so many more now. I mean, we've got the best of twos. The teams are loving it. They're really getting a lot of value out of the extra games. I think someone quoted it's 4 times as many games as there were in spring. So 4 times the practice. It's showing, and there's a lot of 1-1 ties. That's what we can really come to expect nowadays.
Yeah, personally, a big fan of best of 2. I mean, I've probably cast about every League of Legends format there is to exist. I think I've done best of 1, best of 2, and best of 3 regular seasons across different leagues. But I like best of 2, and I definitely know the teams really appreciate it, which is fun, as we are going to watch a few highlights from yesterday. Unsurprisingly, is Vens Ezreal popping off on people. Doesn't seem like a too out of place thing. Perhaps the fact that it's Vens here is the thing that's really out of place, as we'll have a look at Ignis GG here.
Yeah, this was Dignitas getting the faded combo we talked about in the LCS, actually. The Lee Sin and the Kali, these two together, I think you were right when you first brought it up. No one should really be getting these two. And if they do, they really just are going to feel the hurt all game long. It seems like right now in the Academy, a lot of the meta is just, you're not going to ban both, and you're going to have a player that can play them very well, especially in the counter matchups. And so the skill expression that these guys are showing on these two assassins is being just a complete delight to see.
And of course, the team on top right now, 100 Thieves Academy, unsurprisingly continuing to just find better and better rosters across all their teams. I mean, they've had such a good set of development teams. Their academy teams turned strong. They've got teams under those, their junior teams. They have kind of brought players pretty rapidly into the LCS and beyond, and of course into academy as well. So we're definitely fun to see how the teams all match up today. But before we get there, it's time for the Samsung Class 5. Let's have a look at how the timings are doing. I do love to compare all the different roles and see exactly how quickly people are getting stuff done, mainly because I love speedrunning, and anything that's kind of, looking to try and find the fastest time is very appealing.
You know what I love about those rankings is when we can see the entire pool as well, because we only get the top 3, but just seeing where the entire spread lies, I think gives you a better sense of what is actually happening with the rest of the league. But at the very top, my eyes as a jungler, and it's right in the middle of your screen, so you have to try not to see it first, is the fact that the jungle timing seems to be pretty on point. Everybody's hitting level 6 around 6 minutes, which is actually a pretty easy mark, a benchmark to see for your own junglers, and that can be our measuring stick moving forward and how well someone is jungling at the moment.
It's pretty wild that Armeo and Contracts are actually tied there. Definitely 2 junglers to keep your eye on here in Academy. Fastest Mythic and mid also pretty close. In fact, these times in general are all pretty close. I guess bot laners are fighting to get 10k gold. I know in the LCS, Ray's kind of ruined the 10k gold mark.
Yeah.
A lot of ADs, I think, with that Jinx game. But as you can see, there's maybe some room there to maneuver for the bot laners here as they try and get as much gold as possible.
Diamond also ruined the competition in the fastest side of transformation. There is no way someone's coming back to that. I believe that was a Seraphine game that he had in the first week of Academy, and he got a lot of kills. Right? He was getting kills and laning against a melee support, so his transformation was just outrageously fast. No one is playing Enchantress right now, except if you're playing Lulu and just hanging back, so his record will probably stand the test of time.
Well, we'll see. Crumbs are, again, like about 4 times as many games in Academy, so plenty of time for people to catch up against Diamond. But I suspect you're right. I think Diamond may indeed hold the sub 6 minute time for quite a while longer. So kind of fun stuff there. But today, of course, we have some more games coming up. So let's take a look at the schedule and see what we do have on the docket today. As a reminder, there are 2 streams. You're on the A stream right now. We're going to kick things off with C9 versus IMT, followed up by TSM versus Dignitas, and finishing off today with Golden Guardians Academy versus Team Liquid Academy. And as a reminder, all the games are best of 2. So we'll play 2 games, no matter what happens, Crumbs, whether it's a 2-0, a 1-1, or I guess if you're on the real sad side, the 0-2.
Yeah, they're rare, actually. They're somewhat rare. Only the top teams have really honed in on those, and even them, like Cloud9 and 100 Thieves, have gotten to split a lot of games. They don't get to just completely stomp these teams, and I think that's a really strong sign, because half the time we are switching sides as well, so there's just such a strong sense of a refreshment for the teams that might have just lost the first game in a really big fashion. So it's really helping out phase 3. I was thinking this morning on a walk, if you continue this best of 2 for Academy, maybe in a year or two, the level's going to be the same. The learning curve has really been ramping up for these Academy teams.
Yeah, don't forget, this is essentially, one big qualifier in some ways, right, for the Proving Grounds tournament that happens as well. So, and that tournament, especially if you go deep, is many games, as we've seen the teams that really went deep there kind of play through. So, always fun to track in the regular season and get an idea of how powerful the different teams are. And I do like that the season has been expanded so that we get even more games from these teams and more practice as well, because we are seeing, again, continued fluidity between the LCS and Academy players. The LCS season is also quite long this summer, right? So teams are maybe more willing to put other players in so they can maybe experiment around with rosters, or just maybe give the players some time off, right? Whatever the reason is. It is nice to see the system being used. And I think both seasons being fairly long, and especially with Academy being longer, if you are moved to Academy, you don't just get to play a couple games and then just figure it out. You actually get, a substantial amount of playtime on stage, which is nice. But we're going to look at our rosters for this first game. As I said, it's C9 Academy up against IMTA Academy. Darshan, Schoenfire, Copy, Sven, and Isles on the C9 side. With Viper, Under, Pretty, Keith, and Joey. And if you're familiar with the LCS or Academy, these are probably names you recognize.
Yeah, there is a lot of names you'll actually recognize, and even more so since Pretty got to play in the LCS. Now, he had that one game against Evil Geniuses. It didn't go as well as they would have hoped, but he had the opportunity to dip his feet into the LCS there, and I really liked his game yesterday where he actually bust out the Ezreal in the mid lane, so we get to see a lot of experimentation coming out, even from him, who just happens to be able to play pretty much whatever he wants, whatever the team is calling for. And they went 1-1 against TSM, while Cloud9 did get to have just a commanding victory over Evil Geniuses, but then also lost, so both teams at a 1-1 from yesterday's games should be coming into this game respecting each other and really trying to finish the week strong.
Yeah, C9 Academy, force in Academy for quite a while. They are currently second in the standings behind 100 Thieves Academy, who have really been on its tear in both Academy and the LCS. But it shouldn't be surprising that Cloud9 Academy is strong, especially with the addition of Sven playing in Academy for the time being, while King is in the LCS. We are into draft, though, so we'll have a look at what's happening. And I like how we're starting off here, Coach Westrice. No Akali allowed in this game.
Yeah, really? That's a throwback that I hope many people watching would get, though. Akali ban from Westrice. There is a place deep in his heart that must actually hurt to that, because he was the original Akali. He was actually responsible for even my own interest in the game, just from watching him play Akali and then trying to emulate him. No one was doing Akali like he, but this is a different type of champion, still just as strong. And to me, it's just saying that we want to prioritize the Lee Sin. We're not interested in making these kinds of trades. We've done really well with it yesterday. IMT Academy, the ball is in your court. Let us have it, or we'll beat you with it.
All right, well, Lulu and Karma banned on either side. C9 with the Lulu, IMT with the Karma. Gwen also banned by IMT and Renekton. So a lot of power picks being taken out in these early stages. So going to be a very interesting first pick here, first phase in general, as Lee Sin not banned is, that's Fiddlesticks banned away instead by IMT. So clearly respecting the power of that jungler as well, which we haven't seen in the LCS, but I think everyone knows silently is like a pretty powerful champion. If you can pilot it, a set actually is going to be the first pick here for Cloud9.
Yeah, okay, so the Fiddlesticks ban tells me that they want to just play the Rumble. It seems to have been the thing that is the only time where Fiddlesticks feels really safe, is when people are blinding Rumble. Since his early game is not interested in invading and being so aggressive, you go with the Fiddlesticks and bam, you're in the jungle and you get yourself a free level 6. But the set first pick is one that is really surprising. In the LPL, this is considered a really good answer to the Lee Sin, but Cloud9 is saying it's not even needed as an answer. We just want this pick in general. We like the team fighting, the gang setup, and the flexibility to go in 3 lanes.
It kind of blocks Lee Sin as well, potentially, as does give up Ezreal, which is definitely a power pick here, especially if Pretty can also pilot it on the IMT side, as you said, did pick that up yesterday. Looks like they're considering support, so you're going to go with Rumble, actually, as they bait me there with Morgana and Nautilus Hummus, but it is Rumble for the jungle once again out of Anda. Ooh, Diana from Schoenfire and Lee Sin from Cloud9. I love this draft already.
They got so much from that, just from the Ezreal and Rumble. I don't know if the AD carries are actually capable of peeling for themselves anymore. There is just so much dive. There's just so much dive in so many roles. These 3 are gonna find the Ezreal. How many angles does he have to guard? How many people does he need to body block for him so that these three don't get an engage? If their flashes are up, good luck, Ezreal, staying alive between these three. And it's the same theory for the Diana as it was for the Fiddlesticks. The early game is going to be free. Diana can power farm, then hits level 6, and will have tremendous team fighting presence.
It's interesting with all these AD solo laners, right? How few AP junglers other than Rumble get played in the LCS right now. I was thinking, I was like, are there just no others? Like, it's just Nidalee? Doesn't seem that exciting right now. And then, of course, I was reminded that Diana is a pick. That's really cool to see here out of Schoenfire, who is someone that is always on top of the meta as far as current jungle picks go. We are into phase 2 now, though, of bans, and of course, bot laners are going to get targeted here because there's only one bot lane pick in these first 6 on either side. So Thresh band, Center band, and IMT maybe going to follow up with another one as well. They will get first pick out of this phase as well, don't forget.
Yeah, and this could be the Nautilus, perhaps, just Thresh and kill, just banning out the bottom lane flat out. Sven and Niles haven't actually played this lane much. Sven has actually been favoring the likes of the Senna that they themselves banned, which they respond even though Ezreal is picked, because Ezreal was put in the mid lane yesterday from Pretty. So they're saying, all right, we know that you like to be this kind of flexible around it. The Ezreal mid, kind of a pain. If you're already playing the Tristana and you thought she was safe, well, Ezreal is even safer in the mid lane. A lot of flexibility with IMT's drafting, and I just want to see what they do for defending against this dive, because Braum is really rising in priority. Cloud9 already has 2 games where they've banned this, even though the enemy team hasn't really had an indication that it would synergize too well. It's mostly, we don't want to deal with this anti-dive champion because our composition really wants to go in.
Yeah, well, I like Leona. Leona's pretty popular against Rumble because she can build Locket. Leona also kind of pairs well with everything. I think if you pick Nautilus, you maybe like telegraph you want Kai'Sa, right? And Pretty's going mid, but instead it's going to be Sven and Isles actually taking Kai'Sa and Nautilus for themselves. So pretty easy round out of the draft there for Cloud9. Good damage profile. Lots of very aggressive champions, right? Like even Kai'Sa can help dive in with the top side that C9 have set up. So as you said already, whoever is getting Ezreal in this game, they're going to have a very tough time staying alive if the front line gets into the back line.
I like that wording of Leona. She pairs good with everything. I think that's the sign of a strong champion. Pairs well with absolutely everything. Because, yeah, even in match against tanks, she's good. Against squishies, she's good. Against enchanters, she can find the engages for you. And against melee picks, just press Q, and that's enough to keep your carries alive. It won't be the Ezreal in the mid lane, though. It won't be double AD carry that will have to worry about staying alive. Instead, it'll be Viego. So just trying to absorb the initial brunt of the engage from Cloud9 and hopefully get a reset and pop off after that.
Yeah, I do like what IMTA have put together here. I think in general also Viego pretty safe against all these melee champions. So probably going to get the set matchup here by the looks of the draft. They have a couple seconds to swap, but no swaps here from either side. There will be Copy on the set in mid lane and Darshan with Lee Sin in top lane. I feel like that tracks pretty well with how these players like to play. Darshan in previous Academy teams, and I assume on Cloud9 Academy still often gets a lot of attention from his jungle, likes to dominate the 1v1, knows how to call for resources, right, and kind of lead the team in that sense in the early game, and just kind of get himself ahead. Whereas Copy, definitely known for his roaming, and Set is like the roaming melee mid laner, right? I don't think you want any other champion, maybe other than Talon, if you're trying to pull off that style.
It's been curious because Darshan has been the focus of the Academy team for this whole year. And even though Sven was added to the roster and you think, oh, clearly their identity should shift, just help out Sven, just put all your resources down here. It hasn't been that at all. Sometimes the strategy involves him in a carry, but rarely are we actually seeing them prioritize him above everything else. They're playing like it was just another AD carry, and Sven pulls way more than his weight, so he often shines. But we don't have to talk more about how well Sven shines. You can just see him in the game because we're jumping right into it.
You can see him right now. Oh, goodness. That hook almost hitting Viper there, but he will avoid it. Everything's going to be A-okay. As you said, there's been such a self-sufficient player. I think it's one of the nice things about him. I think he's been, not on every team he's been on, but at least in NA, I feel like most of the teams he's been on, he's been more of a weak side player, right? He just kind of hangs out, does his thing, and then he'll bring you the consistency in the mid to late game in the team fighting especially. Whereas I think in general this meta, there are so many good picks in the solo lanes and so many good supports that can engage and want to roam that I feel like a lot of your action happens with your jungler pairing up with one or both solo laners, right? So there's a ton of topside play in the meta right now. So I do think bottom laners kind of just have to like put their thumbs up in the lane and farm out as best they can, right? Because they're not really involved in the early game in a lot of cases.
When you've got melee versus melee in the solo lanes, you know they're going to just be whacking away at each other the whole time. Just trying to last hit is a dangerous affair for these top laners, even in the mid lane. Like, they have to be in each other's face, so they're always in range to actually get stunned, to set up a gank for the enemy jungler. So that means that the jungler, it just has a higher chance of finding a successful gank, going to these solo lanes and helping out the passively farming max range Q Ezreal or the Kai'Sa who just sits back, presses Q, and the wave is cleared.
Already some aggression there from Isles and Sven. Just, keeping some presence in the lane. You can't really let Ezreal get control of a lane, or things get really unfun very quickly. So trying to use that Q, as you said, to push Viper. Looking for the hop in there, gets a little bit of attack speed, gets the grass proc as well. There's another hook from Isles onto Joey. He's just getting peppered. All this CC, a very good bit of early control here out of Cloud9. No hit level 2, and yep, Keith and Joey, you found your rightful home. Go hang out under the tower for a bit because you're not really getting anywhere near this wave for a while.
It's all good down there. The wave at least is not missing any CS that will be dying outside of their experience range, so they're happy just backing off and taking that, especially since the Rumble is not up there. I always love seeing when sides are actually playing safe, when the jungler is pathing away from you, and on the flip side, Sven and Isles can continue to play aggressive since their own jungler is pathing towards them. So that means that they could actually set up a dive if they get really aggressive, or just know that you have backup in case something happens and Keith and Joey see an opportunity to engage on you.
Ender as well, actually just popping a plant, getting a bit of info, sees all the camps are clear, and waiting for the Scuttle Crab to fall, and indeed it will pop up right now. So Ender with a very nice timing, insta-smites that crab, goodbye shield, and level 4 now for the Rumble as he waddles toward mid lane.
It's been an interesting change with the smite now removing the initial shield from the crab, because it actually gives us more times where Scuttle Crab is just getting stolen flat out, since junglers are no longer having it available as the final burst to actually secure it. So it actually promotes more jungle crab fights from laners against junglers.
Now Copy already TP'd back in, pretty actually TP'd kind of late to his lane, so got the wave pushed in as a result, but CS is going to even up. I imagine Pretty will get all of these, if not maybe miss one. No, he's going to get both there. Very nicely solved there with the CS puzzle under the tower, and to the top side, looking for Darshan. Lee Sin is typically very hard to gank. The Viper's almost mega to add a little bit of extra CC, but again, you have to be able to find the right way, and it does get the good slow, but that's why Lee Sin's so troublesome. Just put the Chinka Ore down and hops away.
Oh, it's so easy too, because now you actually have a place to ward hop constantly, so you don't even have to worry about the gank anymore. You always have a place to safeguard behind you, so sometimes you can gank Lee Sin, but you're going to need level 6s for both Anda and Viper to actually pull this one off. Darshan has been really good on this pick lately, so I imagine that he, aware of the jungler's pathing, is not going to present an easy opportunity unless you really brute force it.
And not overstaying there. It would have been possible because this wave is now only now getting pushed in by Darshan. Viper did a really good job of kind of abusing the fact that his jungler was there and that the wave was pushing in, but now the wave's fully in and Darshan's actually walking all the way past it. He's actually going to straight up proxy the wave!
Oh, the BM, the absolute BM. This is just saying, come at me then, come at me. And actually they are on the way. Leona is making a beeline to the top side. If Darshan tries to recall in this brush, he will be collapsed on, so he has to run away. But a fight in the mid lane.
Shern timing is good, but here's Ander as well, Pretty now. Also low alongside Copy, who's got less health. Shern eats a harpoon, never a good timing up against Rumble. And Shernfire says, nope, can't fight that. Does have a recurve, but again, getting slowed, and the Rumble's like almost at max heat. Definitely not a fight that Shern and Copy want to take right now.
Gives him a free control ward for his troubles, though, so Shernfire happy to take that one.
Oh, good.
Level 6.
Pullback there for Copy. Nice face breaker finds Pretty, but level 6 for both means that should be relatively safe. Joey also still on the roam now. And now going to show in lane. Copy's going to back up, and it's already left. This is Isles, a bit late to the party, but better late than never. Perhaps his first blood still on the table. However, I think Joey has realized that his time in the mid lane has come to an end, and both supports are going to actually meet back around the pixel front in the river. Just waving to each other, maybe having a chat. And Xander's going to get that second Scuttle Crab on top side, and C9A are going to start the drink.
Okay, I mean, early Ocean Soul, we're going to be pretty happy about this one, although Rumble will just continue to farm away. And Diana farms really quickly, so normally for junglers, this would be a detour in her jungle pathing, but there isn't even any camp available for her, so this actually coincides really well with the clearing that Surnfire has currently gone for. It is actually even going to hit level 6 sooner. I'm going to say Control Ward Diff. I don't know why that was given, but he's looking for a gank now bot.
Oh, good hook there, and now Surnfire is going to move in for it. Let's put the Moonfall in. There's the ulti down, and Joey, we're going to be on the table for first blood. Sven with the last auto is going to collect it as Cloud9 find a successful gank.
Really nice timing from Cloud9, and it almost feels like it was all too easy, and IMT should have known it was coming. Diana just took the dragon. It should have known something was up in the bot side, but they backed off too late. Isles finds the hook, and with Diana's ability to jump twice towards you, a single flash is not enough to get you away from her.
Real nice there for sure. As Keith's going to have to go ahead and farm up these minions as best he can. Should be just fine here, has Machine, so especially easy for him to farm. But definitely a really nice hook there to watch it again. Isles just right on the money.
Yeah, nice and easy. Joey didn't stand a chance. Burns his flash, the exhaust as well from Keith. But then the final auto. It looked like Joey was going to get away. It really did, but that extra damage from the Noon Quiver on Sven, a little bit of extra AD from him makes the difference, and him getting first blood is just always going to be so dangerous, making use of every penny that he always gets, more than most other AD carries in Academy, to no one's surprise.
Well, Copy doesn't know it, but he's in a 1v3 right now, actually, although he does have his support pretty close by in the Wraith camp, but his jungle is not too far away. Shern's actually starting a Rift Herald here, and should be just fine to take this out. Looks like mid lane pressure has been alleviated. The Cloud9 not only getting the dragon in the bottom side of the map, not only getting a successful gank on bottom lane after the fact, thanks to Isles' nice hook, but Surnfire is even going to pick up this Rift Herald as well. So already very early in this game, Cloud9 have complete control of the map.
Solid objective control. Every single place that they want to fight for anything, they're getting it. And now IMT feels pressured, like they have to respond. They know that Surnfire was in the top side for a little bit, so they go for this red stake, but Isles can flash over if they really want to go for Anda here.
Anda does have Smite. Oh no, they're going in instead. Isles already goes in. The Smite is down. Sorry, Equalize is popped now. Joey maybe caught in the crossfire. Surnfire pops a Moonfall. Once again, it's Sven. So yet again takes out the poor Leona, and a great ulti out of Keith's Viper. Looking to go mega, gets kicked back very critically by Darshan, who TP'd in, and Copy is already taken out pretty. Now dueling Anda in the 1v1 set. It's so savage in these situations as Viper now trying to come to the aid of his jungler, but Copy still had the flash, gets himself out of there after the 1v2 kill.
Cloud9 set that up with the ward so well. The teleport from Darshan greatly communicated. They pick off Joey, who doesn't have flash from the earlier kill in the bot side, and so they actually walk away with a kill. They get TPs out of IMT and don't lose a single member for that. It was a great equalizer from Anda, but he backed off right away. There's no way he could have stayed living in that. Overheats over the wall, and then with Joey by himself and Keith from so far away, no one could unfortunately follow them up.
All right, well, 2 kills now for Sven in the bottom lane as Cloud9 continues to build on their advantage. Only up 700 gold. Which, given that they have 3 kills, actually doesn't feel like all that much, but obviously still significant for them, especially given that Surnfire will be able to drop the Rift Herald somewhere and collect some plates, has more than enough time to get those. In fact, I believe the Herald time will run out before the plates even go away, so he'd basically not have to use it at all to miss out on that bonus gold. And of note, Shern, although we'll hold that thought as we watch this again, I mean, a really good spot here by Cloud9 on this invade.
Yeah, that ward might have needed to be killed from IMT if they wanted to go for that a little bit more committed and trying to deny Cloud9 from the possible TP, but on that entire chaos in the bot side, Copy actually ends up 1v1ing pretty. The damage from the mid lane set, and who knows, might have actually had enough damage to take down Anda here with his own flash, but isn't interested in going for a 1-for-1 trade. Would rather keep it clean. A free kill, that'll continue to keep him ahead of Pretty in the lane. More interested in the lane than just getting those buffs and giving them back.
So well played there by Copy. Surnfire. Luna rushes in. Isles again. The man doesn't miss. W follow up there. Kaita can get in at any time as Isles. He ignited. He's just going to take the kill.
Joey is just getting picked on relentlessly. He has no flash, so every time he steps into the river, steps somewhere that is not under his turret in the lane, they are just collapsing on him. He is just giving much needed gold over to Cloud9, who already has a 2-0 Kai'Sa, and Diana, more importantly, after that play at the red buff, she already had the Nashor's Tooth, so she's gonna just take off.
Copy doing it again, no flash this time. Now gonna have to pop the W, but Isles is here. Copy rid of the ulti, but there's a great Viego ulti there, and getting the kill onto Copy, and that pretty can become Zed if you want. But Darshan and Viper fighting on the top side here as Viper does get the ulti off, but Darshan looking for that damage. Felt pretty confident in the 1v1, can't really blame him, but just an ulti of Viper as he does get away safely. Now Schoenfire trying to get this dragon, and oh my goodness, he does get it, but he's gonna die for it. Now pretty Diana.
The blunder of Rumble. One of the greatest woes for him is that if he actually wants to contest somebody in the pit, his flamethrower is also going to damage the objective. So it actually facilitates Schoenfire to finish that objective and die for it. So I think he'd be typing Worth in this one. Didn't have a bounty before that. Gets the dragon, continues to accelerate Cloud9. But Rumble is starting to become a threat as well. This is one of those classic jungle matchups where they're both just farming the enemy teams and seeing who is actually going to be carrying harder, although Darshan does have flash and he's getting ganked.
That's from him from Darshan going to have to dodge this somehow. Good kick, actually, Darshan getting some distance. W's on, and that's a very beautiful escape.
Yeah, that was actually really nice. Nice and easy. Just make sure that the Viper and Pretty combo is separated. No way to layer stuns against him. And so he now just gets to sit in the farm, collect the wave. And he's going to be very happy because the itemization he's have in this lane is actually really helping him in not only taking these 1v1s, but dealing with potential roams from Pretty. Double physical damage against Ninja Tabis. He's going to feel very safe.
Yeah, Darshan again. Real comfy here. It's so hard to kill Lucian. One of the reasons he's such a prize laner. He is just so flexible. Also of note, after dying, Schoenfire not holding back. Actually went and bought a Dark Seal. Didn't have one before, but has decided that that's his only death of the game if luck will hold. So we'll see how many stacks he gets there. Also a pretty cheap item. Didn't have all that much fun. He got it alongside those boots there, but it's a fun choice there for Schoen. We'll see if it does pay off. Investing in that particular ring. Otherwise, it's Mythics done for both ADs as well. Keith there ready with the Divine Sunder, and Kraken Slayer on the very accelerated Kai'Sa here. Although credit to Keith, he's actually doing a nice job keeping up in farm.
Yeah, and look at the triple items that IMT currently has. I think that they're going to be feeling pretty good about taking fights from now on. The triple Divine Sunder. This is a build that on Viego I first saw from Leader actually in the LEC, but the item is just so powerful right now, and dealing with a lot of these melee champions that have a lot of high HP, there could be a lot of unexpected damage that C9 might not be prepared to deal with.
Alright, well, Dragon not up, so maybe just a fight brewing for the sake of it here in the river. C9 continuing to stay active as both teams are looking to try and take out that first tower and collect the bonus gold. Herald was dropped in bottom lane, but didn't finish off the tower, but still some good plate gold went over to Sven and Schön. But Isles again has not really missed. Oh, the minion. Very unfortunate spot. Joey now re-engaging onto the Nautilus, but going to get Nautilus ulted himself. And a lot of damage following back, so the reinforcements arrive. It's a 4v3 for C9, so they won't continue, but Joey not really in the fight anymore.
Without Joey, they can't go for this Rift Herald again. The best they can do is drop a ward here. I think Cloud9 can feel like they can start it. Copy's already getting damage down here. They're just going to wait their time, make sure that the lanes from IMT show before they go for this objective. And it seems like they're going to even recall the bot lane and just play it as safe as possible. They're not interested in taking any fights that aren't entirely dictated by their positioning. And they're just going to set the recalls and maybe prioritize Herald if they can sneak it, but other than that, with how Schoenfire committed to dying to the dragon earlier, I think he needs to go for this objective to make it worthwhile his time and his earlier sacrifice.
All right, well, Crumbs, the last time we spoke, we're just talking about kind of early mythics for the ADs, but we can talk about a few more now. In fact, IMT, and I only have Rockabout Rumble, so and are definitely leaning on the snowballier side of this champion, right? Sees a lot of squishies, which is relatively fair. Sees a lot of targets he can potentially assassinate. Wants to get aggressive there with the extra M10 out of Rocket Belt, stacking alongside the Sork Shoots. This is very similar to like the classic double pen items of old. When you think about Rumble, right? That was one of the things that made him so good.
Whoa.
Ulti onto the Krugs is nice for farming, but don't know if he wanted to actually go for the dive. It looks a little silly.
That's said so well. Yes, it is actually very nice for farming. It's actually the best objective to farm to use that because little smaller Krugs keep spawning, and so the laid out carpet will make sure that it kills multiple instances of that. But now you don't have that available for Dragon, so Cloud9's gonna love their chances for the next fight.
Sean trying to get aggressive, maybe ill-advised there as Viper easily wins that trade in mini Narf form. TP burnt there as Stridebreaker's done now for Copy. He's down to that bottom side. He's going to go into the Mist and Avoid though, and I think we might have something brewing here as Isles once again is on the roam. Dragon's also up, so we'll have to hold that thought, but we'll talk about the number of Divine Thunders in this game in just a moment. Crumbs, there are quite a few.
Alright, IMT. Even with the Divine Thunders, though, feel like without that equalizer, there's just not a good chance for them to actually commit into this fight. So they're in a pickle now. I mean, they're only 1,000 gold down, so they'll look to take these fights in the next 5 minutes. But they need to start doing something about these Dragon stackings because the comp that Cloud9 has really benefits from that Cloud. So, I mean, the movement speed that you're going to get on a pick like Diana, just dashing into somebody, or even a Kai'Sa, can just break the movement, can break the ankles of IMT. How do you deal with the Diana's ultimate, who's now chasing you, walking the distance that you flash away from her? You can't. She's going to get it guaranteed.
All right, well, Cloud9 definitely happy given how much dive they have in their comp. As you're alluding to, Copy going to go ahead and shuffle to the top side, make sure he cleans up that farm there. But first tower goal did go to Cloud9. Darshan actually on the bottom side collecting that. So now a much more significant goal lead here in the early game, about 2,500 or so. And Shenfire is going to also get this Rift Herald as well. So again, it's the same story here. Cloud9 has been battling in their lanes, right? I think it's actually pretty even as far as farm goes. But on the objective side, it's been all Cloud9 this early game.
Yeah, and part of it is just that Shenfire has been first to these objectives. He's been playing almost like a solo queue style, farm-heavy, objective-heavy jungler. Just take advantage of the lanes that shove out to rush the objectives before the enemy has a chance to even respond. But it looks like a fight might be brewing in the mid lane with Anda roaming up. His equalizer is available, and Pretty is also on the way. But C9 just happy to let the Rift Herald hit the turret, and will back off.
Yeah, almost did enough actually. Cloud9 needed one auto attack pretty much. As Shelly almost finished up the mid out of herself, but almost there. Cloud9 will get that in a second, and Copy with all this free time actually taking top. So Cloud9 is continuing to get further and further ahead. Darshan though, caught in the mix in his own jungle. Kick's not going to save him this time. Joey there, he's going to get the ignite. That he missed the blast turn, and I'm not sure it mattered, and it's going to flame him anyway.
Wow, they had a lot of damage together. They're going to get a turret for that one. That is a really good pick from the IMT support and jungle duo. Still the same theme of the crime where they looked for much earlier into the game around the red buff. They had the timing on this objective, looked for it, saw Darshan in the mix of it, and with him having those ninja tabis that earlier were really effective against Pretty and Viper, turns out that armor stacking is incredibly inefficient against the likes of a Rumble and Leona. So the perfect two members catch him and get a nice kill for IMT.
The story of every Rumble game is like, did Rumble get 2 kills in early Silk Juice? If yes, Rumble is very fed. If no, game is much harder. And thankfully for IMT fans, Anda has 3 kills already with that rocket put done so quickly alongside the Silk Shoes, and of course he's building up more items. And hey, 6 stacks on the Dark Seal as well isn't bad, as Van has to dodge the incoming Zenith Blade. Muramana finished for Keith, Van Adventure finished for Kai'Sa, both ADs very strong at this point, but of course Ezreal much better using his Q to poke from long range, where Kai'Sa does have to get in your face in order to kill you, which he will do quickly if you're not careful. IMT topside. Darshan does kick Viper away. There are so many people in this top half of the map, and Darshan is understanding of the danger, does back away, but likely going to lose his towers. IMT actually have almost even up this gold, Crumbs.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get that top turret as well, because without that control ward that they just cleared, Darshan now doesn't know where the enemy is at, so he has to assume that they're going to be in a position to take him down. Viper gets another kill, and they're loving this one. Gold is dead even, and now you've got a Rumble that the only thing you can pray is that the equalizer misses, because like you said, when he has that itemization, just being in front of him with the Flame Spitter, it's just too much to handle. So you just hope that your team not only is not in a position to get clumped up by multiple members of the IMT, whether it's a Gnar ultimate or a Leona ult, and then you cross your fingers and hope that Anda doesn't have a really good placement, because half the time, that's where Rumble shines. If you just land a good equalizer, oh man, the team fight is just over.
All right, well, Sven does take out the mid tower. Cloud9 keep their tower lead at least. Mid lane, perhaps not long for this world if IMT do want to commit to the cause. Maybe more of notes, actually, there's a Dragon Soul up in 30 seconds, which is pretty wild. Cloud9 have done such a good job snowballing these objectives that IMT are going to have to get in there early. They are first to the area. They don't have the speed shrine though. That is a very nice advantage for Cloud9. And I love this from Darshan, just sticking topside, forcing someone to come. He does have TP if someone else joins, but this is just going to make IMT's decision around this soul so much harder.
They don't have to take this fight. Cloud9 can't afford to give this up, and if they want to threaten a Baron, they can. You've got a Phantom Dancer, Kraken Slayer already, and with a Diana that can turn so quickly, they don't have a problem setting themselves up for a Baron bait, and that's exactly what they'll do.
Oh, such a good bait there. That's Joey dead once again to Sven. As Copy's going to have to kick Ander out of the fight. Love that setup there with the set ulti as Darshan's here as well. TPing in, Ander the target, but not going down as Isle flashes the wall. Copy low, but not dead just yet, but still the Zonia's is going to keep him alive and take it back. The flash is there. The blocks are so good. And Cloud9 somehow wiggle their way out of that one.
They actually didn't lose Copy on that one. That should have been him going down every single time, but IMT just doesn't have the damage for any member to burn through. It's only Ezreal, and he gets blocked. They're still going to force this Baron, though. There is no vision, but it looks like they're going for a pick, hoping IMT face checks.
All right, well.
They're turning.
Dragon goes down, but now C9 coming in. Keith going to get kicked in there by Darshan. Sunfire Copy's vent. Takes that down nice and easy. Great moonfall there out of Sherd. Viper now about to go mega though, and Viper does turn it back around. Now the Egg starting to pump up. Copy getting low, pops the W, but it's backline they have to be careful about. Pretty jumping on top there is Joey now on a rampage, but Sven's going to grab himself the double kill. Joey again is going to fall. Well, the Darshan's going to chase him and look to try and get that kill. And Rumble also getting low there, as I think they're going to get it across the board. Indeed they will. That's the ace and the triple kill out of Sven.
They can still go to the Baron since they have a full ace and it's only 25 seconds on Pretty. Basically, that fight was so long, we had 2 equalizers on Anda, the most fed member, and still they were not able to win the fight, getting picked off from the support right away without Joey, without that major crowd control to lock them down. They're able to walk away from the equalizer, kite back, and then re-engage. The Hail Mary,
pretty close. They're apparently not scared. I guess Sherd wasn't there. So that actually was like a very real steal attempt.
Yeah, that was really close.
Let's watch this one again. Keith, somehow you instantly always think you're safe.
Okay, well, this is the second turn, and it just doesn't matter, because if you are able to get away from Darshan and you flash away, Sven will now be able to follow up with his own ultimate. Then you've got Copy, then you've got Nautilus to be able to get into the mix. So Cloud9 has no problem just focusing whoever is in front of them. If it's Ezreal, if it's Anda, if it's Joey, all members are easy pickings, and even Anda ends up giving the bounty at the end of that fight. Gold going over to Sven.
Yeah, you can see the damage that Anda can put out, but it's just not enough, given how far behind IMT are now. They're down 5,000 gold, approaching 6k, and they'll probably lose more as all up this Baron as Sven, already getting the minions pushed into the tier 2 in bottom lane. Plenty of towers for Cloud9 to take, as they will regroup around their 80 carry. Look to try and take this out. Sven is babysitting this Baron creep as long as he can. Keith, unfortunately, doesn't find the timing to actually Mystic Shot it down. So they will lose this tower, which is as expected. It's how, what else do you not give away for IMT? Can you protect an inhibitor tower? Can you protect an inhibitor? Probably what they're thinking more than these tier 2s that they're probably going to lose regardless.
It's what's so fun about the current meta, that without these control mages, teams have no choice but to fight. And when you lose the fights, you actually end up giving a lot of gold. So there's a big priority in these early skirmishes, because the damage that can be done off of a single Baron push is so much harder to stifle than if you had a Ziggs, an Orianna, an Azir to just slow things down. So this could be a really big advantage that Cloud9 deals with this Baron.
Darshan, they're fighting pretty. Darshan's been dueling everyone today. Does have 2.5 items, can't really blame him. Lee Sin, very good in any sort of elongated scrap. Keith, though, trying to make it uneven, but again, don't chase the Lee Sin. He's proxying waves, you can't catch it, he's just like Singed.
Singed, but even harder to catch because he'll kill you. Singed will flip you and you actually just can't reach him. Lee will just kill you right there. And he'll just keep doing it to multiple members with the Gore Drinker. He actually invites multiple members to try to fight him. You'll heal more. He actually has joy in the fact that you need more than a single enemy to take him down. So Lee right now might just be the strongest solo laner in the meta. Even though Cloud9 didn't pick it, the things we see this champion do are just continuing to impress as players get better and better on these picks.
Yeah, definitely. If you have the flexibility in your team, right, Lee Sin is very valuable. I think the caveat is kind of what you were saying, where you have to be able to actually play Lee Sin, especially in the games that are much closer. I think Darshan has shown lots of good mechanics, right, which is usually where Lee Sin struggle. Laning's pretty easy, but actually doing stuff in skirmishes and teamfights can be a bit tricky, but Darshan has been on top of it. Side laning here, team fighting well, constantly being a pest for the enemy team. Darshan looking really good on this pick right now, which shouldn't be a surprise, given his time in Academy. He has just actually become a better player. You may have even remembered from his time in the LCS. As IMTA getting away. Copy to TPing in a little deep, but not enough, Keith. Does not get tagged by the resonating strike. The copy finally has to leave.
The double TP on the single ward.
Ah!
Yeah, Darshan's still pulling the same move 5 years later, but it almost worked. It almost worked. Poppy did burn his flash. Now Cloud9 has the inside track on the dragon. IMT's going in.
Stun, gonna be okay though. Gets himself out of there. It's now Sean going back in, but Pretty just gonna assassinate him. But the rest of the squad in trouble. There is Viper, almost mega there. Copy on Keith is gonna kick him out of the way, and Sven just left untouched. Copy solos up Keith at the end of it all. And now Sven is going to start to pop off. Pretty can't last the night. It's Ander now overheated trying to get a kill, but it just doesn't matter. Cloud9, they'll find the ace.
You gotta watch that fight from the perspective of Keith because he never stood a chance. He got hooked by Isles into the ultimate from Nautilus, then Lee Sin kick into set ultimate. It just could not do a single thing. I think he tried to regroup with his team to hope that maybe someone misclicked at the ultimate and knocked somebody else into the air instead of him, but Cloud9 is just not gonna miss today. They get the inhibitor, they're gonna get the Cloud Soul, and now this game feels like it's a single team fight away from ending.
Yeah, almost 10,000 gold ahead now for Cloud9. Secured the soul, busted down and in here. Baron back up in a minute. Sven is 8-0 and 5. I'll watch both the AD carries here. First, though, show does get initiated on.
I'm still looking at Keith in the top left, right? Gets ulted, Kai'Sa goes on him. Lee Sin kick, set ultimate. Just, what can he do? He burns both summoners to try to live through that one, while Sven can just rain terror. It's still at full HP, and even Anda hits a full flamethrower, is actually attacking him, doesn't have enough damage to burn through him. He is just so far ahead right now with his shield, level 16.
It's the little things for me for Sven, man. Like, he autos Rumble once because Viego is busy possessing someone and he's untargetable, right? Sven just knows every little detail. And this, you don't need details for. Viper just dead for an easy 1v2 combo there between Darshan and the very fed Kai'Sa on Sven's side. Schönfire getting barbecued up. Does actually now have his mythic finish. Is also going proto belt. So maximal bursty magic pen action here out of the Diana. Schönfire is very threatening as kind of an assassin out of the jungle. An AP1 at that. It's always fun to see. And Cloud9 just going to wander over to this Baron. Viper's dead for 30 seconds. More than enough time to clean out the vision and bait IMT in once again.
So they actually don't clear out the vision entirely, but the only thing they have is Keith's ultimate to try to go for a steal again because this goes down so fast. He's not even going to try it this time. 8 dies so quickly, and it's way too late.
Yeah, this time Shone also there, so it does actually have the smite to secure it. So a lot less scary than the last time that particular exchange happened, and Cloud9 once again will get themselves the Baron. They are now up over the 10k gold mark. So looking in position to close out this first game between these two teams. We'll see what IMC have left in the tank. definitely if if Keith can stay safe, which you already said in draft was going to be a challenge and has been based on what we've seen on screen, but and gets a good equalizer. If Pretty can kind of find that first target and start resetting on Viego, if Viper finds a really nice ulti, right? We haven't really seen the big ticket ultis get their full value on the IMT side of the teamfights just yet. There are ways in for Immortals. It's just going to be challenging given the gold deficit. So we'll see how well they can hold on first and foremost as they are up against Baron for the full duration.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of layering those ultimates like you mentioned, because we really haven't seen IMT engage with everybody ready to follow up on the most important targets. The Equalizer hasn't been layered with the Leona ultimate, with the Mega Gnar ultimate. So without that happening, we still don't know what the team fight can really offer. The time is ticking though, and it's looking really grim, but here they go again.
Zoe again, in on a Shenfire, but it's not enough here, and Coffee has found Viper. His Banner can't kill him as he comes to the top side. Just going to take him out. Another deep TP in from Darshan. Shenfire is trying to leap here, and he will actually take out Joey, who's caught up from the rest of the team. And now Darshan in the mix just goes straight for Pretty, like literally ignoring everybody else. Isles is going to take out Pretty and is going to die shortly after, overheating there as Pete does fall again to Darshan. And Cloud9 will find the clean ace and the game as a result.
They tried to catch Shenfire, but the rest of Cloud9 is so quick to collapse. IMT tried a last stand, didn't want to go down defending the base, instead tried to defend their jungle, and Cloud9 said, no, we are going to end this game right here, right now. It might have taken much longer than we would have liked, but it still was a clean victory from them. Just like yesterday, they open up strong. They're not one of the teams that struggles in the first game. They come out swinging.
Yeah, that was just a great game there for Cloud9. Very, very on form. Sven's Kaiser looking clean as always. Isles didn't miss a hook, it felt like. And we talked about how valuable strong topsides are in this metagame. That was a really cool display of some pretty cutting edge almost meta stuff, right? This is the stuff that people are playing in solo queue that definitely around the world is being piloted. Really cool to see Diana Pet alongside two of the best AD solo laners there in Set and Lee Sin, and everyone, a Copy especially, very impressive in a lot of those close skirmishes and fights early on in particular.
That pairing in the double AD of Lee Sin and Set just makes me wonder, why play AD carries right now? There has to be a different avenue to go about this, because if that's what you're dealing with, you're just a sitting duck every single time. I think we might see teams get frustrated. Legitimately, AD carries just start to experiment with different AD carries out of frustration, something that can contribute to these fights in a better fashion. Maybe even things like the Swain in the bot lane, right? Something a bit tankier that can stay alive, because this is getting out of hand. The life for AD carries, unless you've got the Enchantress to buff you up, has never been worse.
Yeah, I think that is a good note, right? Karma and Lulu obviously can make AD carries a lot more powerful. I think especially double AD carry, those enchanters are pretty good in. Or if you have a carry style jungler, we've seen a lot of Xin paired with Karma and Lulu. But yeah, in that kind of game, when that's the top side you have to face, if Ezreal isn't safe, Crumbs, I feel like nobody is safe.
And that's why you see the Kog'Maw, right? Be like, I might at least get my passive off, right? I'm gonna do true damage, and I can hurt somebody, because even the Ezreal Qs aren't burning through the shields. It's not just tanky champions that the three topside that Cloud9 had that can dive you. All three have shields to shrug off the damage that you actually hit against them with crazy mobility. So it is very difficult to pilot that role right now if this is the draft that Cloud9 is going to be playing, and it's not something that is entirely unique to them. The world is catching on. These dive comps are being played to the fullest extent, and they are really exciting to look at.
I mean, not even the scariest champions got left open, right? Like, Akali got banned on blue side, and that champion's even harder to play against if you're playing any squishy champion, particularly in AD carries. So I am curious to see how these teams change you up. That is one of the nice things about Best of 2 Crumbs, is that teams get to draft again.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get to see a side switch. We did see Prismal try Ziggs yesterday in the bottom lane. That was one little adaptation that Golden Guardians had gone for. It didn't win both games, but it did have a good showing. So maybe that can be something that we can see more of, because at least the mages can get their damage off before they die.
All right, with that, we are going to go to a quick break. When we return, we'll have Game 2 between Cloud9 Academy and IMTA Academy. Don't go too far away.